Here's a run through the advanced settings that you can use when you create a proof. These settings give you great control over how your review teams review and approve your proofs. Let's look first at the Upload Files section. It's worth noting that you can upload multiple files at the same time, or capture multiple web pages at the same time. ProofHQ will create separate proofs for each file after upload, but will send a batch email to your reviewers with a link to each proof listed in the email. If you want to delete one of the files that you've selected, just click the trash icon. In the Share section, you can choose a workspace to add a proof to, or add a new workspace on the fly. Workspaces are nested, so you can create a new workspace inside an existing workspace. Workspaces are a great way of grouping your proofs together logically by client, by project, or any way that suits your own workflow. Now let's look at the Share Proofs by Email section. ProofHQ makes it really easy to add people to a proof. All you need to do is type in their email address and click Add, and they'll be added as a reviewer to the proof. If you've sent a proof to somebody before, just start typing in their name or email address and they'll appear in the autocomplete list below. Just click on the name in the list and they'll be added to the proof. All of the people who you've sent proofs to or received proofs from will appear in your contacts list, which you can see here. You'll notice in the sharing section that there's a field where you can allocate a role to each person. The read-only role means that you're giving them access to the proof but with no commenting or decision functionality. The reviewer role means that you're asking them to make comments but not make a decision on the proof. The approver role is the opposite. It means that you're asking them to make a decision but not giving them the ability to add comments. Reviewer and approver means that you're asking them to both add comments and make a decision. The author role is like reviewer and approver, but also gives them the ability to upload the next version of the proof or add additional people to the proof. And the moderator role gives them the ability to edit comments and replies and to manage the workflow related to the proof in more detail. If you send proofs to the same group of people on a regular basis, you can create a group in the Groups tab. To add a group to a proof, just start typing the group name, click on the name in the autocomplete tool, and all of the people in that group will be added to the proof. You can set default roles for each group member, which makes it quick and easy to remember who has which role on which proof. You can delete anyone from the list by clicking on the trash icon. The next field lets you create a message or description for the proof, which is particularly useful for giving instructions or advice to the review team. If you send lots of proofs, you can create a message template which automatically gets pasted into this field. Once a template's been pasted into the message field, you can still edit it on a proof-by-proof basis. Now let's look at the workflow section. You can keep design projects on track by setting deadlines for proofs. I'm going to choose Thursday at 12 o'clock. And this will notify people on the proof that they need to make a decision by this date and time. It'll also send everyone on the team a reminder if decisions haven't been made by that time. Now let's move on to the settings section. First of all, I can choose another person in my organization to be the owner of the proof. Once the proof's uploaded, that person will be sent an email telling them that they've been made the owner of this proof. This is great in workflows where, for example, you might have a designer uploading a proof but wanting to make a project or account manager the owner of the proof. The next field is email notification settings for reviewers. This setting determines the frequency with which reviewers on your proof get notified about activity such as new comments, replies and decisions. The default setting is daily summary, and it's worth noting that individual reviewers or users of ProofHQ can override this setting in either their personal settings or on the proof page itself. The next setting tells ProofHQ to lock the proof when all the decisions have been made. Once a proof's been closed, no further comments can be added to it, and no team member can change a decision that they've already made. By default, proofs are left unlocked after all decisions have been made, and this checkbox will lock the proof when the final decision has been made. There's an additional setting below which lets you only require one decision. This means that you can invite several people to be an approver on the proof, but you only need a decision from one of them before progressing the proof through your workflow. This is particularly useful if you have a proof with a short deadline and you just need one person in the team to say yes. The next setting lets you require that any reviewer of the proof has a login to ProofHQ. This means that you can only send proofs to users who have a ProofHQ username and password, but it does provide a significant level of extra security, which some companies require. The next three settings are related. For each proof, ProofHQ creates personal URLs which are created for each reviewer and get sent by email when the proof's created. These personal URLs will take the reviewer to the proof directly and log them in automatically. As well as personal URLs, each proof has a team URL which doesn't contain personal information, so the person clicking on it won't be logged into the proof. With team URLs, the reviewer will need to add their username and password before they can access the proof. Team URLs are normally used to paste into group emails sent to more than one person, or into project management tool pages where more than one person will be viewing the same link. The subscription enabled function therefore relates to the team URL, and if it's enabled, lets somebody clicking on the team URL subscribe themselves to the proof. This means that if they haven't been explicitly added to the proof in the sharing section above, they can add themselves to the proof without being invited by the proof owner. This is a great way of letting people sign themselves up to a proof without having to invite them up front. The default role for new subscribers field lets you assign a default role to each subscriber signing themselves up to the proof, and subscriber validation means that the subscriber must click a link in an email before they can access the proof. This prevents people signing up with a fake email address and pretending to be someone else. The next setting lets you block download of the original file. By default, ProofHQ lets all reviewers download the original file from which the proof was created, and this setting lets you prevent them doing that if you don't want them to see the original file. If you use a specific combination of these settings for all of your proofs, you can set your default proof settings in your Personal Settings tab.